Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Nicholas Barnsdale, and welcome back to Ace Racing League for another race. Today, we have the sixth round of the third season of Ace Racing Formula 3 Championship. The track today is the iconic Imola Grand Prix circuit. This Italian track was built in 1953. It's got 21 turns and a total length of 5.4 kilometers, a very technical track which should prove challenging for today's entrants. We'll have a 15-minute practice session as per usual. After practice is finished, the drivers will get 20 minutes to set down the best time possible in qualifying. It'll be followed by two 20-minute races. The starting grid of race 1 will be based on the qualifying results, and the starting grid of race 2 will be based on the results of race 1. In the second race, the top 8 will be reversed, and only the top 8 drivers will score championship points. Now let's see some practice footage. And here we are on board with Lexi Kaipanen as the weekend gets underway. The one-day weekend, I should say. I'm sure any return viewers are wondering, hey, that's not Samet Halafi. And you're right, no, it's not. Unfortunately, he's away today due to, I believe he's recovering from a karting event. So good for him. Here's Alexei Kaipanen down the back straight of Imola. He's been very quick on the speed timings so far this season. He's always in the top few. Um, in the live timing in the practice leading up to the races. Results haven't really come through on track. I don't believe he's won a race yet, unfortunately, but today there's only 9 drivers set to go, so it could be the day for him. We know he's fast for the Scuderia Otec Orange team. He's just got to put it all together, and of course, he has to tackle the championship leader, Stein Prince. So 10 minutes left to go in practice, and he's flying through. It's like a very nice line through there. You have to really be careful on the curves in this car because it's a very stiff car. The rear can step out from you at any second. And we see the nice RadiatorsChamp.com sponsorship. I don't exactly know what that is. Either way, we ride on board with Kaipanen's lap, and he comes down the very long back straight and takes this right-hander, braking at about where the tire marks start, using the curb on both sides. You see the difference in skill gap between someone like him and, well, someone like me, for instance. His lines are perfect. You saw that he used all the track and a little bit more, and it really shows in lap time. He lays down a 36.3. That's a good banker time, but you can expect him to be getting a little bit faster as the weekend progresses. Now down to the challenging first complex. Those curves on the inside are really out to get you. You got to watch out for those. But you see Kaipanen doesn't take one. Luca Becker, another one who's been fast. The German sets down a 36.8, just 5/10 off Alexei Kaipanen's time. He's still flying. Stein Prinz puts them in his back pocket. He sets the first 35 of the weekend. Connor Pelkman's the new driver for CDC Racing. No, sorry, he's Scuderia Otec Red. Sets down a 36 as well. Now we ride on board with Kaipanen, gets a little bit of understeer through that corner. This car does like to do that from time to time. And as he goes through the right-hander, you just get a nice cinematic on board, being chased there by, I think, that's Connor Pelkman's in the Scuderia Otec red car. Wayne Trammer comes down in 5th. He's marked as Mr. Wayne on live time, but he's Wayne Trammer's. He's a little bit off the pace there, but I'm sure he'll get faster. He's been practicing a lot, and he's been setting down some halfway decent times, I must say. Now we're going to ride on board with him. He's another new entrant in this series, racing for the G-Force Racing Team. It looks like they haven't got the livery on for this race, unfortunately, but he was a late entry, so that's probably got something to do with it. Wayne now disappears. We get a nice scenic shot of Imola. Yeah, indeed, he has got the basic livery on, but it's okay. He's taking a nice line through there. Luca Mangini sets his first lap. He's 4.9 seconds off the pace. I know he's got more pace than that, probably a few mistakes in that lap. And Luca Becker goes first in the practice session with a 35.8. He's been doing well so far this season. Took his first win recently. I believe I'm going to actually get these standings up because I am embarrassing. Just going to go into this. himself. You see, he's not carried as much speed through there as we saw previously from Kuiper, and now Stein Prince gives Hans Luca Becker a seat. He goes 2 tenths faster in the practice session. He's only warming up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure we'll see someone break into the 34s as the session progresses. No, Becker has not won a race yet. He finished 4th in both Zandvoort races, but has yet to win an ARL race. Could today be the day? He looks to be on the pace, only 2.5 seconds off the championship leader. Let's take a second to go over the championship standings. Stein Prince leads Mixa Mortiferum, who's absent today. Stein Prince leads by 46 points. He's well clear. And then Alexei Kaipinen sits third. He's had 2 podiums to keep himself in the running. 50 points down on Prince. He has a lot of work to do, but it is possible. John Bennett in 4th. He's dropped out of the championship, unfortunately, to focus on endurance racing. Vladislav Mochilenko, Stein Prince's teammate, he is not with us today either. 69 points in 5th. Mika Hakimi in 6th. He's dropped out of the table, and it's a long way back to the rest of the field. Connor Bell sits in 11th. He'll look to crack the top 10 for ESRG Racing. He has yet to set a lap in practice, it would appear. Note, there he goes. 6th position for Connor Bell. 2.52 seconds off the pace in this practice session so far. Connor Pelkmans takes 4th place, less than a second away from Prince now, and we're going to fall on board with the Scuderia Otec red driver as he goes through his paces here at Imola. A very good driver. It must be said he was leading the Formula Trout Challenger split before moving to the Master split for the upcoming race weekend, and he was dominant. He was like Lewis Hamilton in that series. A few missteps, but on his day, he was winning by 30-40 seconds. Yannis Murray sets his first time. It looks like he may have spun, but stayed on the track in that lap. 15 seconds off Stein Prince, and he's got a 151. So Pelkman's absolutely flying through that fast section. It feels really satisfying to get that one right. And now through this right-hander, that's one of the most tricky sections on the circuit. You don't want to let the rear step out from you at any point. Under braking and turning in this car do not mix. You can definitely get caught up and lose time there, or lose the car completely. Pelkmans now looks to be on for a decent lap. 112 heading into the final section. He's catching up with, I believe that's Connor Bell. No, that's Niklas Nahovold for Scooter PJ in the blue and white livery. A nice little lockup there from Pelkmans into the right-hander there. And now they come down the main straight. He's following Niklas Nahovold. Maybe a little bit of a toe, but maybe not much. Pell sets a 137, and Pelkmans goes across the line for a 136.3. It's a small improvement, but not much. Now we see Luca Mangini picking himself out of the gravel for CDC Racing. No livery for them either today. He's going to have to start a new lap, but it's just practice. That's what it's there for. I'm sure he's done a lot of laps coming up to this race. In fact, I'm sure he's done a lot. He always practices hard. That's something to admire about Luca Mangini. He may not be the fastest driver at the moment, but his work ethic shows that he will be someday, I'm certain. In fact, I can confirm that Luca Mangini has done 25 laps, unfortunately. I thought he did more. He always does more than that. But today it looks like he may have had some other things to do. Luca Becker now, we're falling on board with him as he looks to warm up his tires and then go on his flying lap in practice. Going to take a look at the team's championship now. You're going to find it's somewhat similar to the drivers because Sim Apex has opened up a commanding lead. The only team that might have a shot at catching them now is Scuderia Otec Orange, with Blue Steel, their main rival, 59 points behind and seem to be disinvolved with the championship at the moment. Cosworth Racing in 4th, who was actually the one-man John Bennett team, has dropped out. Then that's followed by Scuderia Otec Red, who made a good signing, I must say, with Connor Pelkmans recently, but no dice for them so far. Vermin RT, with only 2 races under their belts, has vaulted into 6th place, although with 54 points, it's hard to say they can contend for a championship. Maybe a top 3 if they keep on it. But we see Mangini went only 5 seconds lower there. I know he'll get faster. Now here's Becker. We're on board with him into his flying lap. Murray is still well behind in ninth place, although I think he's only really done one lap. I don't think he's really that concerned with practice. We're getting a little bit of a screen tear at the moment, a little bit of lag on the stream, but that's okay. It doesn't affect me too much, but that's going to be my excuse if I make any poor commentary mistakes. Um, Either way, we're on board with Becker now, 6/10 down through the first two sectors, and that wasn't an especially good corner. Got a little bit loose to the exit. I don't think we're going to see an improvement here. Kaipinen still 8.5 tenths off the top time set by Stein Prince. Pelkman's just behind that, 3,000th of a second behind Alexei Kaipinen. Would be an interesting battle for the podium today. Becker's now coming down the final straight. Going to minimize the run to the line by cutting that corner, and he will not improve. 1.1 seconds off, and that'd be 8/10 off his best time. So we're winding down practice now. We're going to follow along with the youngster, Nick Kleinavod. I'm saying it the Samet way. I know that's not right, but Samet's got me used to it, so Nick Kleinavod it is. He's coming through the third sector now, and it looks like he might have been on his outlap because he's very far behind. But I just want to take a minute to appreciate the Scuderia Piche livery. It's very pretty, that blue and yellow. I really like it. Whoever designed that did a good job. I think it may have been the man running the stream at the moment, Cemal, who also does a fantastic job running Ace Racing League, as does our current practice pole sitter, Stein Prince. So practice coming to an end. They'll be setting their final lap soon. Neek will have one more shot at the apple. It wasn't Cemal. I've just been informed. Cemal says he did not design it. Unfortunately. Well, kudos to whoever did. I honestly don't know. Follow along with Neek. He also does a job for Ace Racing League, and Luca Mangini has another expedition to the gravel. It looks like he's going to have a Hessel Verheyen moment. If you guys remember back to season 1, I think it is, he is now stuck in the gravel. There is no returning to pits, and Connor Bell's gonna go meet the wall. Nice little handshake there. He does return to pits, and that'll be his practice session over. Connor Pelkin's back in the pits. Nick Kleinavod, the only one left on the lap. He's 1.5 seconds down, and the session is over. So there's the practice session. Now we get to the exciting bit. Qualifying, where we see who's really on the pace today. No more sandbagging, full hammer time focus mode. It's going to be Luca Becker leaving the pits here. It looks like he's going to be the first one out, unless I missed some further up the grid. Nope, that's Luca Becker, first out of the pits, followed by Nick Kleinavod. And they're all going to be warming up their tires. Get ready for a lot of snaking as we go through this lap. In practice, Becker set a 35.7, so we know he's capable of that. Stein Prince went fastest, of course, in the practice session. He actually told me to call him Stygian Pridgens for this session, so that's what I'm going to do. Stygian Pridgens went fastest with a 1:35.0. Will we break into the 34s? That is a big question for today. Following the one with Luca Becker, the third fastest man in practice, I think it was. Yes, he was, followed by behind R2 Niemanen, who didn't make the lap requirements, unfortunately. Would have been interesting to see that three-way battle for the top spot. Becker running just a little bit wide there on his outlap. That will be allowed, I think, under ARL rules, although it will be up to the discretion of our steward, Lodvik Perkan, who was invited to join me today, but unfortunately it looks like he's out at the moment. So it's just me all by myself in the commentary box. Blame Stein Prince. He asked me to sing that as well. So Luca Becker finally, after 1 minute of me waffling, is coming around the final corners to start his flying lap now. Nick Kleinavod not too far behind. So Luca Becker is going to run wider than normal onto the main straight just to get that extra speed built up, and now headed across the start-finish line for the first lap of the qualifying. It's Luca Becker breaking about where those tire marks start, maybe a bit later if you're brave, and taking every curb and a little bit more as you go through that first section. This is an easy corner. very fast, but now you have to slow it down for this one, and it looks like he missed the apex just a bit. Yep, and he's gone. That's a lost lap time for Luca Becker. Unfortunate start to the session for him. Now we're going to switch to Connor Pelkman's point of view. Yeah, he's going to do, sorry, Becker's going to do the good thing and stay off the track there. And now we see Pelkman's maximizing the exit of that corner. You see Becker's back on the track in the background. Good for him. Don't want to get stuck in the gravel because you cannot return to pits in this session. Once you're out, you're out. If you run out of fuel, you're out of luck. Tough bananas. So now we see Pelkman's riding through this section. He took the speed bump on the inside there, which is interesting. Didn't seem to upset the car too much, so maybe he knows that they're a little bit exploitable there. Now he comes into this technical hairpin chicane, and he's very loose on the exit there. I think that could be a qualifying lap invalidated, but I don't think it's going to be one he wants anyways. I'm sure he'll want to improve on his mistakes in the next few laps, and I'm sure he will as well. He's a very polished, sharp driver. I expect him to be in the top 5. He's coming around the final corner. It won't be a terrible lap, maybe a 137 to start out with. It's a 137.2. Apparently, he's 59 seconds faster. Connor Bell sets a similar time. He sets a 137.5. Wayne Tremors a 37 something, but bigger news, Alexei Kaipinen goes faster with a 136.3. Murray slots himself into 4th as the lap times start to come in now. My job is going to get a whole lot harder as people set their times. The order looks like this as of right now. Looks like Prince may have invalidated his first lap. It's Kaipinen in first with a 36.3. Connor Pelkman's in second, 8/10 behind that. Then Nikolai Nauvoo just setting his lap now in 4th place, 1.6 seconds behind. Stein Prince, who goes pole position 7/10 faster than Alexei Kaipinen. Stunning lap from him, although I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. He breaks into 35s the first time in qualifying. Now we're going to follow on board with the young Australian Connor Bell. He's a good driver as well, a young up-and-comer, although he said recently he may be slowing down his involvement in sim racing, especially his driving school, which fields a team in Ace Racing League as of right now. But hopefully he'll be able to make the best of his last few races, perhaps in Ace Racing League. We don't know what his future plans are, but let's see what he can do. He's coming around the final corners now. Judging by the timing sheet, it won't be a stunning lap, unfortunately for him. It will be a solid banker, though, as he comes down to the final line. It's going to be a 37.1. He vaults himself into 3rd place. Fair play to him. So right now it's Prince with a 35.6. Kaipinen 7/10 behind that, followed by Wayne Tremors, who goes 3rd. Nope, followed by Luca Becker now, who goes 3rd. The leaderboard is looking like a fast-paced game of chess. Everything is just moving around. A blitz game, a 1-minute bullet. So Kaipinen is now 6/10 off Prince with a slightly improved lap. Becker 1.1 seconds off of the leader. Mr. Wayne 2/10 behind him, followed by Bell in 5th place, another 2/10 back. Nikolai Nauvoo is now going 4th. Wow, this is a lot of action. I don't know how Samed does it on a daily basis. I'm sure I'll be back to you guys next week, but I'm going to try to do my best in the meantime. Yanis Murray now on his lap. Is that a Sahara Force India livery I see? A fantastic livery, I must say. I don't know if the game just picked a random one or if they picked that one on purpose, but I think that's really cool. A nice livery, the silver and orange we haven't seen for a long time in Formula One. Now that my boy Stroll has taken over as Racing Point, but we're gonna fall on board with Yanis Murray here. Lap hasn't looked too shabby so far. He's hit the racing lines very nice. Not much to complain about, but a tricky section. We've seen many a driver get wayward on the exit here. Murray won't be one of them. He stays flat on the rear tires, no wheel spin there to speak of. Now Murray comes down to the final sector, looking to beat a 35.4 set by Prince. As we speak, Connor Pelkman takes over 3rd position with a 36.4. So Yanis Murray coming through the final few corners. He's on pace for a decent lap here. You want to be at around the 131 mark as you come through that final bend. He's a bit behind that. He's going to set a 38.2, 2.7 seconds off the pace. So not any faster. We have Kuipen in the pits now. Prince is still on his out lap, but we're falling on board with Yanis Murray now as he comes into this first section. Now we're going to switch to Nick Klein-Nauvold as he goes fourth fastest, setting a 36.2. Very nice from him there. What did Cemal call him? The little guy? He's a good little guy, isn't he? That's what Sam had said. So we're falling on board with the good little guy. Down into the first sector. He takes this one with a lot of corner speed and gets very squirmy on the exit there. That's probably the lap over for him. That section's very tricky, and he gets it a little bit wrong there too. You have to be very on top of things with all the quick changes of direction at Imola and the high curbs. Now we're falling on board with Becker, who has only been good enough for fifth so far in the qualifying session. I know he has more pace in him. Obviously, as I look at the timing sheets, we're gonna fall on board with him. Oh, very wide there. Hopefully Lotvik had his eyes closed for that one. Reminder that anybody caught cutting corners will receive a backup grid penalty for the next race. So Becker, as I take a drink of water because my mouth is getting very dry, comes through this fast left, sorry, not fast at all, this slow left-right chicane. Got good traction out there, which is crucial to the lap time. It occurs to me now that he's on an out lap as the live timing shows up on the bottom. Murray finishes his lap. He doesn't go any faster. 11 minutes to go now in this practice session. And Neek will pop into the pit lane. Now I'm going to take my opportunity to check on the YouTube chat. See if anyone wants to talk to me. We have Bobby Schmerda, also known as Max Janssen, in the chat. What's up, Max? Cemal talking in the chat, as is Toy and Lower, who is not racing today, unfortunately, as he withdraws from G-Force Racing Team. Sorry for that, ladies and gentlemen. I was just checking something with ARL administration. I'm part of the staff as well, so I had to just take a quick look in the chat. Someone pinged me. Now we're falling on board with Luca Mangini, one of the younger drivers in the league from Italy. I believe it's the evening for him, but I'm going to say buon pomeriggio because I don't know how to say night in Italian. Mangini now starts his flying lap. He'll definitely want to improve. I believe he must have made a mistake on that last lap. Want to be careful through here, and he gets very wayward, and he's doing some lawn mowing once again. Unfortunate for Mangini, but ample time to settle up. So 10 minutes to go. Now we're going to switch back to Yanis Murray, who's popping into the pit lane. Cemal's not having good luck selecting participants. Now, here's always a sure bet for a good watch. Connor Pelkmans flies through this bit. He missed the apex in the first part, but that doesn't matter. A nice exit onto the back straight here off that left, right, left. Very crucial. Now into the right, left. Takes the curb on the inside, takes the curb on the inside, and a very good chicane from Connor Pelkmans as he comes through. I think he may unfortunately be on an out lap because the live timing isn't showing a running total of the time. Now braking where the tire marks and misses just slightly the apex there, although it's not detrimental too much to your lap time. Not using the entire width of the road there, but I'm sure it didn't detract too much, maybe a few hundredths. And yes, he was unfortunately on an out lap, so we're going to see his full lap now. He maximized that bit of track right there on the inside. You want to use the green AstroTurf. Now coming down, brake about the 50, although you don't have to brake too much, maybe even just lift off. I haven't done too many laps of this track myself, so I'm not a huge authority, but I know generally what they're going to do. I raced last season here, flat through this section, and now braking through this one. He maximized that, and now coming down to the hairpin, brake just later than the 50. You can carry a lot of speed through there. It really depends on the driver's skill, which Connor Pelkmans has a fair surplus of, so he was able to carry a good amount of speed through there. Looking at 40 seconds as we cross the Sparko bridge. Is that Sparko or is it E-Parko? I never understood that. Very nice through there, maximized the exit, took a good amount of corner speed, and now down to this right-hander, and braking very hard for the right-hander here, but carrying as much speed through as possible. Pelkmans uses all the green AstroTurf he feels necessary on the right-hand side of the track. Now coming down to the chicane, carrying as much speed as you dare through here, and he gets a good exit. Although probably could have been a little quicker. You have to make sure to keep the traction at this point on for a good lap here. Looks like the order remains largely unchanged except for Luca Becker going P2. I knew he had more pace in him, and he showed us all right there. 5.7 seconds off of Stein Prince's time. Now Pelkmans comes through onto the straight to complete his flying lap that we've been on board with. A 31.5 to go through the final bend. What's it gonna be for Pelkmans? He's in 36.9 range, but that's no improvement for Pelkmans. 1 second off the pace. As we see, I believe that's another OTEC driver leaving the pits in the background. We're gonna ride on board with the championship leader, Stijan Pridgens, now in qualifying. He says it'll give him 10 extra horsepower if I say that. So I will. Falling on board with him in the very nice Sim Apex black, white, and apparently green car. I am slightly colorblind. I thought it was yellow for the longest time, but they told me it was green. Mr. Wayne goes P6. He improves on his time. Now Bridgens comes through this right-hander. Look at the amount of speed he carries compared to some of the other laps he's seen. He's just such a superb driver. Knows where the limit of the grip is, and he can keep it on that for almost the whole race. Now through the chicane. Oh, very, very brave on the curb. I wouldn't have been so brave myself. Time for a drink of water as we watch Prince come through the final section here. A very nice apex there, maximizing that. I swear I'm going to stop saying that because I'm sure it's getting annoying at this point. Now coming through the final sector of the lap. This is going to be a good one. I can tell by the timing. Follow the timing screen as we come towards the line. It's a 35.1. Incredible time from Stijan Pridgens, and he's 8/10 clear of the next closest guy. The rest of the field is a second off, except for Luca Becker, who we're going to fall on board with now as he goes through a poor lap. Pelkmans sets his new personal best. He goes P4 with a 36.2. Still over a second off the alien that is Stein Prince. He says he's from the Netherlands. I'm sure he's from Neptune. But regardless, he's P1. Now we see Nikolai Nauvot filling our screen with dust. Thanks for that, Nick. We didn't want to actually see what was going on. I kid with him because I know he's a cool kid. I call him a kid, a cool guy. Becker now gets really close to the curbing. You don't want to touch that. I know from experience, a lot of curbing is very dangerous in this car. He's going to slow down. I hope he doesn't return to pits here. No, he's just going to let Nikolai Nauvot through. Is he out of fuel? Is Becker out of fuel? I don't exactly know what's happening there, but now we're going to look at Alexei Kaipanen's lap. A bit slower through there than you want to be, although I'm not one to talk. I would have gone even slower than that. So Kaipanen trying to get closer to Stein Prince and Luca Becker. Luca Becker appears to be within touching distance. Prince is doubtful. Prince is back in the pits now. Kaipanen now through this technical section of the track. Carried a lot of speed through there, to be fair. A nice line and a nice entry. Kept the car planted and kept a lot of speed. That's what you want. Now through the left-right chicane, so at the right-left chicane. Kaipanen not on for a great lap here. I've just noticed as I look down at the live timing. I should really do that more. And what do you know? Time flies when you're having fun. 3.5 minutes to go in qualifying. Kaipanen now finishing his lap. Looks like it may have been an out lap. And now I'm embarrassed once again. 12 seconds off the pace for his out lap. That can be used actually for a measure maybe of how long it takes you to get through the pit lane, although it really depends on how far back he was to start. Cemal Race Control has just sent me a message saying that his PC isn't doing too great, although I haven't noticed much stuttering recently. It just happens once in a while. I'm kind of nervous to see how it'll be for the race start. Speaking of which, we've had a few incidents in the last few races, so we've made sure to tell our drivers to be careful. it's a non-contact sport after all. Physical distancing, so we've made sure to stress to our drivers, please be careful into turn one, especially in this track because of how many changes of direction there are in the first few corners before the cars get spread out. Um, you have to have a lot of caution going down into T1, T's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just the whole circuit. It's a really a death trap, as we've seen from Luca Mangini quite a few times so far. Quite a few drivers, in fact. Nick Kleinaufor, who's currently P5, has visited the off-track areas once in a while, as has every driver, I think, so far in the session. We may have just not caught them in their moment of weakness as they explore the gravel. Now on board with Lexi Kaipanen, this lap isn't looking too bad. Let's see if he can touch Luca Becker. Coming through the final bend now, it doesn't look like it will be a very successful lap. Trying to cut down the time to the line. No, he will not improve 1.9 seconds off that time. So he's going to need to find quite a bit more time now. Here's Nick Kleinauvoort. He may try to want to break it within the 1 second window. Not for DRS, but in fact just to hopefully get P3 or P4. He's been doing okay this season. As you follow along with him from the first season to the second season, the third season, you can see so much improvement. And you got to applaud him for that. Nick did a 36.3 in practice. Let's see what he's on now. He's on about a 36.4. So we know he has more time. He would need to pull something special out to catch Pelkmans or Kaipanen. Becker may be out of reach, but P3 could be possible for the young Dutchman. Now here's Yannis Murray, the South African man, driving down the back straight. He's going to be looking into the last double left. The two left-handers, which are some of the easiest corners in the circuit, I have to say. The car really doesn't feel like it's going to want to murder you at this times. Murray's going into the pits. Looks like his qualifying session is over. We cut to poor Luca Mangini just having a little snog with the wall there. Now if Khan's and Nikolai now for it, his car looks really shiny. Way shinier than the other cars. I don't know how they've done that. He goes wide on the exit there. I think he's on his out lap. Will he have enough time to get the lap in? I can't be. I'm not certain he'll have enough time to start his next lap. The car ahead probably will, which based on looks might be one of the OTEC cars. It could be Pelkman's ahead of him. 8 seconds left across the line, and no, Nagovot is slowing down. He will not make the start-finish line. Just missed it. And there's the end of the session. So Stein Prince is your pole sitter for today's race. Luca Becker qualified 8/10 slower into P2. We see in the game chat Connor Pelkman saying, wait, why does it end right away? Yes, apparently he was on his lap. That is something I noticed as well. He's on his lap. I would have liked to see the qualifying order a little longer, but it's okay. I'm sure we'll see plenty of changing of that during the course of the first lap. Of course, with the proximity of the cars, it's very easy to overtake, and can also be prone to crashes, which could see some back markers shake up the field. But it's Prince on pole, Becker in second, Kaipanen down in third, followed by Connor Pelkmans, the new driver making his ARL debut. Then it's Nick in fifth. I'm not entirely sure of the order following that, but it goes something like this: Yannis Murray, Connor Bell, Luca Mangini, and one other driver that I can't name. But the race is about to begin. We're going to 5 red lights for the ARL Imola Grand Prix. On board with Luca Becker at the start. And they're away. Lights out. A good start from Luca Becker. Stein Prince has an equal one. We see some weaving in the background. Stein Prince is going to come under pressure into turn one. There's Kaipanen looking to pounce in the background. Down into turn one. It's the inside line. But wow, a nice move by Prince. Keeps himself in the lead. Becker now keeps P2. Pelkmans is up into third. Bell into fourth. Kaipanen has dropped to last, as has Nick Kleinauvoort. I think there was an instant between those two, but Prince maintains his lead, something he's been very good at doing so far in the ARL Championship. Luca Becker down now in P2 where he started. Pelkmans has made up a few places into P3. We've gone back to pits. Our controls are locked for 24 seconds. Prince now 4/10 away from Becker. Becker looking to keep within that DRS window, but we see the Delta climb. Pelkman's 1.4 seconds behind the leader, 1 second behind Becker. Now we see Bell trying to pressure Pelkmans into a stake as they come down to the right-hander. Bell gets the line a little bit wrong, and now Pelkmans is going to be able to pull away. You see the gap extend to 8/10 now. Mr. Wayne overtakes Luca Manghini for P5. A lot of action on this first lap of the ARL Imola Grand Prix and some weaving in the midfield. Yes, we have some action as we go down into the S's. It's Prinz maintaining the lead. Manghini's down to 8th. Looks like he's had a mistake made, and Kaipinen will be quick to dispatch of him into P8. So Prinz leads the way, followed by Becker, then Pelkmans, followed by Bell, who is 1.3 seconds behind that. Then a big gap of 3 seconds to Mr. Wayne, followed by Nikolai Nauvod in 6th. Yanis Murray took advantage of the earlier instinct, got up to be 7th, and Luca Manghini 8th, followed by Kaipinen, who is going to just put him in his back pocket as quickly as possible. I don't think Manghini is going to put up too much of a fight because he knows Kaipinen isn't his rival at the moment. Although, I speak from experience, when you're back there, you do want to have a nice battle if you're not expecting to. So, side by side, Manghini breaks later, but he got the line all wrong into there, and Kaipinen is through. Back to Stein Prince, who has carved out a 1 second gap. No DRS, so that's not an entirely significant development in this series, but Prince doing what he does best and just pulling away, doing a Lewis Hamilton, whatever you want to call it, he's doing it. Becker now leading Pelkmans. Pelkmans, the first timer, already into a podium position in his first ARL race. 3 minutes in, he'll want to be now settling into his groove and hopefully looking to catch Luca Becker, who won't want anything to do with him. He's going to want to try to find his rhythm and go after Stein Prince, who's leading the way. So 1.7 seconds then back to Connor Bell, and a big gap to Mr. Wayne. That little gaggle of cars is Wayne, Nauvod, and Murray. Those three may be locked in battle as the race continues, but the top three are quite a bit away from the rest. So Prince, 1.3 seconds. Becker is keeping within touching distance, so Prince has to maintain his concentration, something that he has struggled with over his racing career, I have to say. Although I try to boost his confidence whenever possible, he's always saying that he lacks confidence, and he has spun quite a few times in this series, although it looks like he's on another level today. 1:36.0, he takes the fastest lap of the race, coming on to, I think it's lap 3 or 4 now. No lap counter here because we're running on time only, so 16 minutes left in the session. Prinz leads the way. Becker is actually reeling him in a little bit here. It was 1.3, now it's down to 1.2 seconds. We're on board with Pelkmans, though. He's looking to close in. Becker 1.3 seconds behind, though. Becker seems to have a really good pace so far in this event. Pelkmans now 1.5 seconds behind. Bell is 1.7 behind that. So he's losing a bit of time to Pelkmans, but he's still within range if Pelkmans were to go off track. Mr. Wayne then a 5-second gap behind that, and he has 1 second on Nikolai Nauvod, who has 5/10 on Yanis Murray. We're going to follow along with him, the Dutchman representing the Netherlands, Stein Prince also representing them. We have a significant decrease in Dutch drivers. We usually have quite a few, but today it's only 2 representing the orange, white, and blue. It's Nikolai Nauvod kind of in a little pocket of space between the 2 cars that are ahead and behind, although I know he's going to want to do something about that as fast as possible. Mr. Wayne in 5th. Luca Becker, has he set the fastest lap of the race? Timing hasn't come up, but no, he's about 1/10 off. Now 1.4 seconds to Prince. Prince is just chipping out his nice cushion. Although you wouldn't chip out a cushion, would you? You'd more fluff it. He's fluffing his pillow. Onto lap 5, I want to say. Nikolai Nauvod still trying to close up on Mr. Wayne. He's 1 second away now. Luca Manghini struggling a bit in 9th there. 26 seconds away from the lead. I'm running out of water, which is a crisis now because of the sheer amount of commentating I'm having to do over what's so far been an action-packed Imola Grand Prix. Kaipinen now looking to perhaps salvage something out of this race. He's already in 8th, which grants him pole position in the next event, sprint. But I'm sure he'll want to be maximizing the points because you get more for race 1. So I know he's faster than Yanis Beret. No offense to Yanis, but he's definitely going to be closing him in. And probably Nick to come. Falling on board with them, you're going to see Kaipinen put pressure on Yanis Beret very shortly in the cool looking Force India livery. Now we fall on board with them. I picture it's going to be a short battle between these two. Hopefully, no contact, but you see Kaipinen now within 4/10 of Murray, and I think he has a better run now onto the front straight. And he will have Slipstream coming down onto the start-finish line. He will, and you can see gains being made down into turn 1. Kaipinen declares his line early. Murray looking to drift out and cut off his space, but Becker is better into turn 2, and he's got P7 now. That is worth, excuse my math, 6 points. Prince still leads the way. He's gained 2/10 since we last saw the leaders. He's now 1.7 seconds up on Luca Becker, who is now 3.8 seconds away from Connor Pelkmans, who is 2.5 seconds up on the other Connor Bell. Then a 6-second gap to Mr. Wayne as that midfield battle gets exciting. Mr. Wayne and Nikolai Nauvoort, just 6/10 separating those two. I'm sure they'll be battling soon. Following on board with Stein Prince, though, the man leading the championship, he'll look to pretty much seal it with a win today. Mixa Mortiferum missing today's race, and I don't think he'll have much of a chance, even if he comes back after this race, because there's only 3 races to go: Valdunga, Paul Ricard, and Barcelona. There is definitely a chance, but Prince is definitely capitalizing on his time away, as we saw in real life with, back in 1977. I'm definitely not knowing that from the movie Rush. Stein Prince getting even quicker, the fastest lap of the race, a 35.6, and that gives him an even bigger gap over Luca Becker. No slipstream for him now. Prince got a little bit squirmy on the exit there. Now he gets the fun bit. It's the midfield battle of Wayne, Nikolai Nauvoort, and Alexei Kaipinen, who's a little bit too far back to be involved at the moment, but he would be around to pick up the pieces if there were a fracas between the two in front. Mr. Wayne and Nikolai Nauvoort sure to do battle soon. We have to follow on board with them and watch as they sort themselves out. They have a little discussion, and Nikolai Nauvoort very close to Wayne Trammers now, on the back of him, trying to get the slipstream into the chicane. Down to this left-hander, the fast one. A little bit of a better run from Wayne there, but Nauvoort is going to have slipstream all through this final section with the straights. Good run from both drivers. Nothing can be faulted for them there. I have to clear my throat. Sorry about that. We're going to go to our sponsors, Lyft Gaming, for their message as we take a little break.
Lyft Incorporated is a lifestyle brand driven by esports, founded in 2018. Our mission is to lift esports to a higher level by offering the best esports products and services. We believe that a healthy lifestyle contributes to every aspect of the athletes. Lyft represents the life of a successful esports player. We define our brand with esports merchandise, supplements, and coaching. We rise by lifting you. Hop in the lift, do it different.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Imola Grand Prix of Ace Racing League. While you're away, you missed Mr. Wayne have a moment and go into the grass on the exit of, I believe it was turn 8. Klein now assumes P6. That will give him 3rd place in the next race on the starting grid and also 8 points in the championship. Stein Prince still 2 seconds ahead of Becker, a healthy gap. Pelkman's still looking very good for his first ARL podium. A strong drive for him on debut so far. Becker sets his personal best, and he actually gained a bit on Prince through that lap, about a 10th and a half. Seems like I definitely need to do some vocal exercises before we started recording today. But nonetheless, I'm happy to be here. I promise you, the velvety tones and quick wit of Samet Alafi will be back with you next week. Sorry, in 2 weeks' time. That race will be contested at Vallelunga, Max Janssen's favorite track if he's in the chat. He's not. Max Janssen has been quiet since the first few minutes of the stream, but either way, we'll be at Vallelunga, another Italian leg followed by Paul Ricard, Barcelona, and the rescheduled Spa-Francorchamps to finish out the season. Falling on board now with Luca Becker as he tries. It's starting to look like helplessly to reel in Stein Prince. Stein Prince has just been too good today so far. With 7.5 minutes to go in this race, he's doing what he does best, winning. Yeah, he's just been too good so far this season, and it looks like he may be on track for his first Ace Racing League championship. He was knocking on the door in Season 1, knocking on the door in Season 2, and it looks like finally he's got the battering ram equipped for Season 3 because he's just been too good. You notice his concentration is on another level. Very few mistakes today, if any. And he's just looking good. Oh my, he set the fastest lap with a 35.5, only a few tenths off his qualifying lap time. A pole position of 35.0. Becker now 2.8 tenths away. He's thinking in the cockpit, well, I can't compete with that. What do you, come on, man. Give me some hope here. 3 seconds down now. Pelkman's further futility from him trying to catch P2. It looks like he'll have to consolidate P3. Connor Bell, a nice try from him, down in P4. Kuipen in 5th, a long way back from that. And then Nick Kleinaufoot may hope to get him by the end of this race. He'll need to take down 2.5 seconds in 6 minutes and 20. Is it possible? Yes. Will it happen? We'll have to wait and see. Kuipen looked out the pace over him in practice, but you never know what happens in the race. Mistakes get made, pace falls away, stuff happens. Mr. Wayne, after his earlier incident, hasn't gotten back with Navod. He's in P7, which is worth, excuse my math, 6 points in the championship. Murray will be on pole for the next race if it were to end now. He's 3 seconds away, 2.3 seconds away from Mr. Wayne in P7. He's P8, Yannis Murray. And Luca Mangini, the only one so far out of the reverse grid order in P9. He's a minute 10 seconds away from the leader Stein Prince, but it will still be 2 points to add to his Ace Racing League total, which he actually has not scored a point yet, so it will be his first points as long as he finishes this race. Congratulations to him. The drive, I'm sure, hasn't been what he's wanted today, but otherwise, I'm sure it'll be a good day for him. Yannis Murray coming through 2 seconds off Mr. Wayne, Wayne Trammers, although I think he has closed down this lap, only 2.4 seconds away now. Prince, 5.3 seconds up on Luca Becker. It seems to be all over unless Prince makes a big mistake in the final sectors of this race. Falling on board now with Yannis Murray as he comes through the final few laps. Looks like we'll have 3 more laps, including this one. With 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, Nick Kleinaufoot trying to chase down Kuipen. He hasn't made inroads so far. In fact, I'd say Kuipen has made inroads of his own on Connor Bell, although the gap seems to be just a little bit too far for him to abridge with the time remaining. Prince now 6.6 seconds away from Becker. Becker, I believe, has just toned down his pace a little bit, maybe driving at about 90%, just to consolidate that P2 for some nice championship points. Pelkman's has done the same. I think he's in P3 right now, representing Canada. Gotta respect the Maple Leaf. Glory to the Queen. We don't actually cheer for the Queen, but I think it looks like with his result today, he's definitely gone for the maple syrup with the waffles, which he has before every race, according to him. So it's helped him out here. It helps him out in Formula Trout, the Formula Hybrid League that runs concurrently to us. Prince still leading the way. Nick Kleinavo in P6. Stein, can't you just, like, spin or something? Make it interesting, man. Someone do something. Prince has done a Hamilton, and it seems he's I can't think of the word, but he's just pushed himself to create the most boring race possible. He's just decided to pull away. So after the race, we're gonna talk to him. We're gonna tell him he has to script a little bit. No, just kidding. Of course not. But a little action, maybe with Luca Mangini. Actually, he's only about 18 seconds away from coming into contact with Luca for, I believe he drives for CDC now. He was earlier of Project Racing, but now drives for CDC after Project Racing's dissolution. Prince actually locked up there into the left-hander. No worries, I'm sure the tires are fine. They don't wear too much in this car on this track over 20 minutes. You saw there Luca Becker in the background. That's just a visualization of how much distance is between them. You don't even see him on screen there as the TV camera pans away from the main straight. Becker turns in a 136.3. He's been consistent with his pace all afternoon, but unfortunately Prince has also been consistent with his. So P1 seems to be consolidated at the moment. Pelkman's, his pace has been decent as well. Down in P3, 12.5 seconds off Prince's time. Not Prince's time, Prince's position. Connor Bell 7 seconds behind Pelkman's. Kaipanen closing in on Bell, actually. I think we may have seen, or not seen, rather, a mistake from Connor Bell. Now 1.2 seconds away is Kaipanen, and we see him chasing down the silver and gold and red car of the ESRG Racing, Connor Bell. His teammate, Ross McIntyre, away today, did not complete the valid required laps. To enter, we require all drivers to do 20 laps to prove competency to race in Ace Racing League, just to keep the field as close as possible and reduce the number of incidents. That is more the reason. Water break. So we still follow along board with Kaipanen trying to chase down Connor Bell. As we head into the chicane, we can see a lot more speed actually being carried by Kaipanen there, and he's now within 1 second of Connor Bell, so we could see some action going on to the final lap. 42 seconds remaining in the race. Stein Prince enters what will certainly be his final lap. Becker is 8 seconds adrift down in P2. Then he's followed by Pelkmans, who's probably crossing the line now, and then back to Bell and Kaipanen, who will be battling, it looks like, on the final lap. Kaipanen lost a bit of time through the final few corners there, but he's still on the back of Bell nonetheless. So thank you guys for some action as we come on to this final lap. 14 seconds, the clock ticks down. It will probably be Luca Mangini's final lap, but the rest will be free to fight for position. It's Bell and Kaipanen through the first few corners. Bell still maintaining a 4/10 gap. A bit slidey there from Kaipanen on the exit. They may feel some small effects of tire wear now as we get deeper into this race, and he slides again on the exit. That's going to hurt his chances of getting to Bell into the slow section coming up. Sorry, I believe it's one fast corner, then followed by the slow section. Yes, it is. Here's the fast left-hander. They both take it pretty well. Kaipanen, 6/10 away now. More like 5 as they come down to this right-hander, and then slowing down very well for the right-hander there. Kaipanen now 4/10 off. He's closing the gap with every second. Stein Prince is about to be crossing the line to win the race, and here he comes. He's going to take it. Stein Prince, start to finish. Flawless. Flawless in Imola. Becker's going to come home P2. Pelkman's is going to be P3. And it's up to the final two contenders for 4th and 5th to decide what's going to happen between those two. We follow Pelkman's across the line. P3 for him in his ARL debut. Solid drive. And now it's going to be a drag race to the line between Bell and Kaipinen. It doesn't look like Kaipinen has the legs. It's going to be... Oh, it's going to be close. Who got it? Kaipinen got 4th on the line. What a finish. Probably one of the best finishes we've seen for a position so far this season. Kaipinen robbed him. Oh, wow. What a stunning drive in the final lap for Kaipinen. Bell 5th. Nikolai Naufel 6th. Mr. Wayne 6th. Murray. I'm confused now because I don't know who finished 6th, but we have our reverse grid now for race 2. I can't see the order anymore, but Yannis Murray starts on pole. I'm almost certain this is his first pole of his ARL career. I'm not sure who's P2. It looks like it could be an OTEC. It's Mr. Wayne. Thank you. Cemal comes over the radio to help out his struggling commentator, Nikolai Naufel, I believe is in 3rd. Then followed by an OTEC driver, who I can't see, Alexei Kaipinen. Then followed by Bell. And then, no, that's not Bell. Yeah, it is Bell. Anyways, 5 red lights. You'll see the order very soon, although it is subject to change. We go to the start for Imola Race 2. Oh, way they go. A decent start from Murray, but a better one on the inside. Nope, that was Murray. Murray getting the best start of them all. He's going to lead down into turn 1. This kink, it's Mr. Wayne still holding P2. Sorry, that's Wayne Tremors. Kaipinen is already up to P3. A good start from him. Bell into P4. Looks like we may have had some touching. Kaipinen now up into P2. A great start from him. Wayne Tremors down into 3rd. Now Bell into 4th, although he's overtaken by Nikolai Naufel. They're single file now, but now Nikolai Naufel may look up the inside of Mr. Wayne. Bell and someone else have had an incident. It was Becker. Becker and Bell got tangled up. I don't think you blame Bell for that one. Looks like Becker may have tagged his inside there. Mangini picks up 8th spot, and Murray is going to stay in the lead. Get a nice view of the wall there as they come down to the fast right-hander, followed by the slow right-hander. Oh, Kaipinen had to take avoiding action there. He was going way too fast into the right-hander. Prince up into P3 already. He wants his 2nd win in a row. Pelkman's into P4, and there's Nikolai Naufel off the track. He was tangled up with Wayne Tremors there, which the safety car has been deployed following Mr. Wayne and Connor Bell's incident. It's another incident from Bell. I'm sure he'll be a little bit upset in his cockpit. And that means Yannis Murray will officially lead a lap in Ace Racing League Formula 3. Congratulations to him. He drove actually very well on lap 1. Kaipinen is going to stay in P2. Prince will be chomping at the bit to try to overtake those two drivers in P3. Pelkman's just behind them. I'm sure he'll be looking to do the same, maybe capitalize on a little extracurricular activities going on between the drivers. Becker in 5th. I know he'll be wanting to make some overtakes. Mangini will be delighted with 6th. He'll look to do some good driving. Of course, they all will look to do some good driving. Thanks for that insightful commentary, Nick. But I'm sure he'll be looking to hold position. Mr. Wayne, although, and Connor Bell are 2 very talented drivers behind him, as is Nikolai Naufel, so it'll have to be some solid defending from Mangini or a very sharp increase in pace. So we're on virtual safety car now. It's been a theme, and you see the snaking going on there from all the drivers trying to keep their tires warm. I find it's a bit futile in Assetto Corsa, especially with these cars. The tires don't really retain heat very well at slow speeds, so they will probably have cold tires going into the restart period. No word yet on the safety car. It looks like we may have one more lap under slow speeds. as we cross into the 16th minute, sorry, not the 16th minute, the 4th minute of this Imola race 2. Yannis Murray still leads the way under virtual safety car. There is no physical safety car, of course, but the leader has to slow down to a speed of about 80 kilometers per hour. Kuipen in behind him, Prince in behind that, then followed by Pelkmans, the Canadian, Becker, Mangini, Wayne, Bell, and Nagavold. The virtual safety car is in this lap, so Murray is free to accelerate whenever he wants. Looks like he's chosen to do so now. I believe he's going full speed as they head onto the start-finish line. No overtaking before the checkered line. Looks like the gap is somewhat large between all the drivers. We won't have any overtaking. Yannis Murray at the fast level of 55.3. He's coming under pressure, though, from Alexei Kuipen. No rest for the wicked. Murray instantly under pressure, and he's off into the grass. Kuipen takes avoiding action. Very good driving from him to keep the car going in a straight line. Prince now up into P2. Pelkmans to P3 as Yannis Murray falls to P5 following a disastrous defending attempt there. Kuipen down into P3. Pelkmans takes over P2. There's tremendous fighting going on at the front now. Prince leading the way. Oh, what could have been tears look up in the inside like Connor Pelkmans there. He's going to think better of it, and good on him. Very close in the top 5. Prince, Pelkmans, Kuipen, Becker, and Murray all separated by 1.5 seconds. Becker's going to look up the inside. Oh, very lucky he didn't touch there. That would have been disastrous for Kuipenen's race. And that little kerfuffle gets them further back. Yannis Murray still within touching distance of these top 5, although not a great entry into that chicane. Prince now takes the lead of race 2. It'll be the first sweep of the season if he can pull it off. Pelkmans, though, we'll have something to say about that. He's 4/10 away in P2. Kuipen in P3. He gets a poor run out of the chicane, and now Luca Becker is going to come up the inside of his O-Tech sister team teammate. He's now into the podium position. A nice move from Becker. He just kept it clean, and he leaves room on the outside, and he's through into P3. Kuipen will have to take a seat in P4 for now. Looks like his run is about the same as Becker onto the back straight, although now you see the slipstream starting to have effect. Signed Prince at 138.4 is the fastest lap now. Becker and Kuipen side by side now into the true turn 1. I don't know if it's actually turn 1 at the track. And Becker's going to have him before the corner even begins. So it's Becker now into the podium place. I have a feeling we're not seeing the end of this battle, not one bit, with 14 minutes all to play for. Then it's 2.2 seconds back. No, more like 1.3 seconds back to Yannis Murray. And Mr. Wayne is 5.5 adrift of him. Getting a little oversteery on the exit is Alexei Kuipen. Now we're going to switch to the perspective of Stein Prince, who has pulled out 7/10 on this lap alone, to Connor Pelkmans, who is now in P2. A nice keep fighting Michael livery on the side of Stein Prince's car. I know Sim Apex has a special guard for Michael Schumacher, as we all do, and we hope he gets better soon. A little break from the action there, just to talk about Mr. Schumacher himself, one of the greatest racing drivers to ever live. Prince is trying to replicate one of his performances as we speak. He's already done it in race 1. Now he's looking to do it in race 2. He's a second away from Connor Pelkmans as we enter the minute number 12 of the second race. Had to clear my throat, sorry about that. It's Pelkmans in P2, Becker P3, and the gaps are starting to form once again. The drivers are setting into groove, and they're sorting themselves out in the proper running order, and we're seeing a very similar order as we did last time, although Murray, very comfortable in P5. That would be some nice points for him. Bell now sends one up the inside of Wayne Schrammers. An incredibly confident move from Bell. You gotta love that aggression. No contact there. Bell knew he had the line, and he knew he would be able to avoid the aggression. Avoid any contact, so he did it. Not the end of the road for Mr. Wayne, though. He's sending it back up the inside, sending that right back to Connor, although it wasn't the same result. Bell is spinning, and I think he'll be quite upset in the cockpit of his ESRG livery. I think Wayne maybe got a little bit too feisty in that helmet. He may have wanted to get back at him, and it sent him into a reckless move. The move itself wasn't too bad, but he let himself go too far wide on the exit, and that was what caused that crash. I'm sure Bell will be furiously typing after the race with reports, because he's been crashed, I think, 3 times now in this race. Unfortunate day out for him. Prince is still only 1.2 seconds ahead of Connor Pelkmans coming on to the next lap. You see the Canadian flag on the livery. Very nice to see, if I do say so myself. Really adds the aesthetic much better than I'd say the Dutch flag does. Just kidding. Just kidding. Cemal, I'm very sorry for that. Friends still leads the way as I risk getting kicked from the Discord call. Pelkman's in P2. Becker P3, 1.8 seconds behind him. Then a second and a half separates him from Alexei Kaipinen, who has a 3-second cushion over Yannis Murray. And he has carved out a little gap for himself in P5. We may see a very nice points finish from him today. Cemal doesn't appear to be happy with that statement that I made a few seconds ago. So Steinprinz leads the way. Pelkman in P2. Not a lot of battling going on, although it looks like we could have a duel between Wayne and Nahavod if we could get that on the screen in P6 and P7. 2/10 separate them. Nikolai Nahavod, a very wide exit from Wayne Tremors there. Will Nahavod send one up the inside? No, he'll think better of it into the right-hander. He'll wait for a good exit onto the straight. Getting very wayward there. He saves the car, but didn't save the time. Now he'll go down to about a second away from Tremors there. Gonna take a little break just for a second. My voice is dying. Oh, Nikolai Nahavod loses it onto the grass, pushing just a bit too hard to try to find the time to catch up with Tremors. That battle ended prematurely. Can't blame them there. I'd be pushing very hard to get that position too, especially after a disastrous opening, which saw, I think, some midfield kerfuffle. So it's Prinz, 2 Pelkmans, 2 Becker, 2 Kaipinen, Murray, Wayne, Nauvort, Mangini, and Bell trails after a string of incidents. Prinz, by the way, set the fastest lap of the race. Another 35.6, just churning out the consistent laps as we go through less than half the race to contest now. 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go in Imola. And 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go in my commentary career as the ARL booth man. Prinz is the man in the lead, as per usual. He's not going to let up and give us some excitement. No, he's going to try to pull away as best he can from Pelkmans. Now we're going to fall on board with Alexei Kaipinen as he tries to close up the gap to Becker. He's only 1.2 seconds away, so he can definitely do something about that cushion as we come on to the latter stages. They will start feeling the adverse effects of lower grip from the tires now. Over half the race has been contested. That's about 8 laps on the tires, and they wear somewhat fast on this car, especially with the scrubbing. So we may see a few more mistakes. Prinz, though, doesn't seem to see any problem with them so far. It's a 35.3, the fastest lap of the Grand Prix from the Flying Dutchman, as I have just named him. Connor Pelkman's P2. Now he can't keep up with that fast lap of the race pace. He's a great driver, but just not that stupendously fast to be able to catch up to Prinz when he's setting fastest laps of the race. 3.6 seconds drift. Becker has been slowly reeling him in as I've been talking. 1.6 seconds back now. Then followed by Alexei Kaipinen, who is only a second away. We could see the fight for the final podium spot get a little bit heated as we come on to lap number 9, I think. Should be about 13 laps in total, so about 4 laps to go after this one. It's Becker trying to catch up to Pelkmans almost within a second now, 1.4 away. Hypenen 1.1 away. Now, if they work together, they could definitely catch Pelkmans and have an almighty battle for P2. Unfortunately, the drivers don't exactly do what the commentators want. They're there to score points and have fun, so we're going to see exactly what happens in the final stages. As the championship goes, Prinz would extend his lead by a massive 40 points, so he'd be 66 points ahead of Mixa Mortiferum. Kaipinen would add to his total, so he will overtake Mixa Mortiferum for second in the championship. We don't see any live race contestants except for Bell in the backfield. I believe he'll move into the top 10 with his point total today, although it wasn't a huge total. It is enough to overtake Alex Cochran, who is absent after a nice second place in race 2 at the Red Bull Ring last time out. So it's Becker now we follow along with. He's closed up to Pelkmans now just within a second through the right-hander, although he wasn't optimal through there. Could have taken a better apex. Mangini sets his personal best, a 38.0, I want to say. I didn't fully catch that time, but still a good time for him. Becker and Pelkmans. Less than a second separates them now. Pelkmans goes very wide onto the grass, and now we could see some action into the final few corners of this lap. We go through the fast right-hander now. And no, sorry, that's not the fast right-hander, that's the chicane. Becker takes it a bit better. 7/10 away now, 6.5. The gap closing with every second, and Pelkmans must be feeling the heat. A few sweat droplets inside the helmet, not only because of the tension being created by Luca Becker from behind, but also because it's about 30 degrees in Canada today, and I'm also boiling in my room. Connor Pelkmans lives on the West Coast, though. I live on the East Coast. I am from Toronto. He is from Vancouver. Not that you need to know that, but a little tidbit to add to the race. Becker, I believe, is from Germany, so we have some intercontinental battling as we go on. I really love the diversity of sim racing. You can check our standings and see about 20 or 30 different flags. That's one thing I love about this league. You have guys from all over the world racing against each other, including a strong Malaysian contingent, which is not represented on this occasion. They were very strong early in the year, but it looks like they've more or less pulled away. 4 minutes to go now, and Becker is slowly but surely gobbling up Connor Pelkmans. It's 8/10 now away, just chipping away brick by brick, my citizens, as Julius Caesar said. And that's what Becker's doing. He's putting brick by brick. Pelkmans gets it wrong again, the same way he did in the last lap. Now it's about 7/10 separating them. 6.5 again. Becker needs to capitalize on that mistake. He gets a good run out of the chicane. 6/10 away now. 5.5 down on Connor Pelkmans as we enter the final sector. The two left-handers followed by the long straight, which will come into Becker's hands now as he's only 3.5 down. Although he goes wide, he'll have the slipstream to make up for it as we come on to the 3rd minute. So about 2 or 3 laps to go, depending on the lap times. Becker will have ample opportunity to overtake the Canadian for P2. Finally, an exciting battle as the race commences. Pelkmans 4/10 up on Becker. And it looks like he gained a little bit of time through the first few corners, although Becker knows where he's weak, especially through that double right, you know the one, about to occur in the middle sector. And now he's pulled the gap to 7/10 again, so good driving from Pelkman. He's kept his cool in there in the Scuderia Otec red cockpit. Very consistent from the Canadian, just like the Canadian Armed Forces in the World Wars. History facts for you guys in the middle of a sim race. I bet you weren't expecting that. Let's check the chat. Only to be depressed. No one wants to talk to me. Very disappointing. So it's now 2.5 tenths separating these two, and it's a full-fledged battle now. Oh, Becker gets it wrong on the exit. It's Scuderia Otec Orange versus Scuderia Otec Red. Red has the upper hand at the moment, but Orange not far behind. It's the battle of the summer tones. And Pelkmans gets it wrong. Becker's going to have a great run. He had to break in the middle of that corner not to hit the back of Pelkmans, but he's going to have slipstream all the way down this massive front straight, I should say, weaving around. Now he cuts to the inside, and he's got P2 from Connor Pelkman. Pelkman's with a shambolic lap there. One lap to go, and Becker has done it. He's got the silver medal, but Pelkmans lunges up the inside. A terrific move from Pelkmans. He's come back onto the track on the apex. A terrific battle as both drivers look to keep on the track. They're struggling for grip at the moment as they go side by side through the first sector. It's Pelkmans retaining second place. Becker had to slot in behind there as Pelkmans just had a superior run through that corner. Now through the somewhat fast hairpin, both drivers lose traction on the exit, but the slipstream goes to Becker coming up to this fast left-hander. Can they go side by side through it? Oh, they can, but only for a short while. Both runs compromise amply through that corner. Now through the double right-hander. Becker breaks a bit earlier. The gap is growing now again. It's 4 tenths separating the two. And it's the second last lap. Prince is about to start his final. No, this may be the final lap for these two. They won't get to the line in 20 seconds. Becker seems to be losing the car a little bit. It's sliding away from him. Now it is the final lap. Prince won't get to the line in 6 seconds, so it's going to be Stein Prince with a sweep in Imola. Stein Prince wins the Imola Grand Prix ×2. Pelkmans looks like he's going to go home in P2. Yes, he is. Not enough room this time for another dramatic finish. It's Pelkmans P2, Becker P3. It's going to be Kaipanen in fourth. A nice weekend from him. Murray solidifies P5 following an early incident and a fall down to P5. He's happy with that result, weaving as he crosses the start-finish line. 6th from Wayne Tremors, 7th from Nick Kleinavort. Bell has passed Mangini, but no further. 1 point for him as he comes across the line, and Luca Mangini will take no points from this race. He'll be down in 9th. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for this weekend. It was a bit of a disappointment to see only 9 drivers contest it, but thank you for joining us nonetheless. I've been Nicholas Barnsdale. This has been Ace Racing League. We're glad to have you along, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks' time for Vallelunga. Have a good day, everyone. Stay safe out there, and goodbye.